So for me, I'm perhaps less worried these days about the fine-tuning issue. I'm more interested in why there are laws in the first place. Why is it that compact mathematical relationships capture the nature of reality? And even more astonishing, why is it that there exist beings, namely ourselves, and maybe others, who can come to understand this, that can not only observe the universe, but can grasp what is going on. That is, that they're not just part of the cast, that they can see the plot of the play. And that I think is really tremendously significant. And when people say about anthropic selection in the multiverse, they're only concerned about that we observe a universe consistent with life, but we understand it. That goes beyond mere observation. That, for me, is the real challenge, to explain, as Einstein said, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. And that's what I tend to zero in on.
Yeah, this whole idea that, physics and chemistry explains everything, as philosophers would jump into this and say, well, wait a minute, aren't we human beings more than just physics and chemistry? The fact that we have a mind, the fact that we're able to emotionally react, the fact that we're able to speculate about questions, is there a God behind the universe? This seems to be more than just pure physics and chemistry. So I think we have to not only involve scientists from different disciplines, but we need to bring in people of a philosophical and metaphysical bent to actually challenge us and say, can you physicists really do explain everything from just pure physics and chemistry?
Right. So, and I agree with you entirely. And so we're into the old problem of reductionism, and that human beings are nothing but moving mounds of molecules, which I myself don't believe. So I've always taken life seriously and mind seriously. But many of my colleagues simply say, well, this is just a convenient way of labeling certain systems and has no fundamental significance. So what we're really into is ultimate explanations. If we're trying to grasp what lies at the foundation of the order that we see in the universe, is it the laws of physics, or are there foundational laws or principles that emerge at higher levels of complexity, for example, like in living matter? And I've come around to the point of view that there are fundamental laws that operate in living matter that are consistent with but not reducible to the laws of physics. I've slowly built up that intuition over my career. Many of my colleagues still vehemently disagree, but I think we have to take that seriously.
Well, and that's, Paul, something that you had brought up too, free will and volition in general, right, Hugh? Right. Self-awareness. And Paul, you had brought up the idea of these laws, but also that we are aware of these laws. And,
right.
And on this planet, we are the only creatures that are aware of them. The lesser creatures.
Well, we're more than aware. We actually have come to understand what's going on. And the example that I just recently used with my students was when Newton saw the proverbial apple fall when he was sheltering during the pandemic in 1665. Saw the apple fall and didn't just see a falling apple, but saw something connecting the motion of an object near the Earth's surface with the motion of the moon. Now, Newton's dog, Rover Newton, sitting beside, saw the same apple fall, so had the same experience, but didn't make that abstract connection about the mathematical underpinnings of what was being observed. And that, I think, is so important. It's not that we just notice regularities. People notice for thousands of years that the sun rises and all that sort of thing. But we've stitched it all together and have used that to predict things that human beings would never, ever have dreamt existed and would never have discovered by any other mode of thought. For example, the Higgs boson. Or neutrinos. Neutrinos are going through you as you're sitting there in their countless trillions every second. You don't feel them, don't worry about it, they don't do you any harm, but they are there. And you wouldn't notice it in daily life or even with some very, very careful observations. And yet through understanding the underpinnings of these abstract mathematical laws that connect together all these disparate phenomena, it's possible to make the prediction that there are these particles. And sure enough, you can do experiments, and there are. So we have come to understand how the universe is put together in this very subtle and very beautiful way, involving these mathematical relationships. And we haven't completed that program yet, and it is never completable. It may be outside the scope of the human intellect. I don't know. I hope not, but we've done very, very well. And it just seems to me rather extraordinary that there is a planet that has beings on it who have, stumbled across this pathway to this deep grasp that I sometimes like to say have decoded the cosmic code on which the universe runs. So I think that's something of enormous significance. I'm not sure that's free will, which is a long conversation about free will, but it has to do with consciousness and comprehension. And I think that's something that's often left out of these discussions.